I stood there on their front porch, a grocery bag full of steaks dangling from one hand and a case of beer sweating in the other. The wind was kicking up, rattling the old wind chimes Linda hung years ago, and I was staring at a piece of cardboard taped to the door. No freeloaders in 2025. Keep your charity at home. Moneybags. Black marker, block letters, probably Tommy's handwriting too sloppy to be anyone else's. I read it twice, then a third time, hoping it'd morph into something less brutal. It didn't. I'd shelled out for everything that year. Thanksgiving at their place, turkey, sides, even the damn cranberry sauce nobody ate, came out of my pocket. Christmas? I covered the tree, the lights, the presents under it. Hell, I even paid for the propane so they could grill out back for New Year's Eve. Steaks, beer, charcoal, the works. I didn't blink. That's what you do for family, right? You pitch in. You carry the load. Except now, standing there like a fool, I realized they didn't see it that way. Inside, I could hear them. Laughter rolled out through the cracked window, warm and sharp, slicing me deeper than the January chill. Where's the extra ice? That was Linda, my sister, her voice all high and bossy. Check the cooler, my mom hollered back, fake cheerful, like she was auditioning for a sitcom. Betty didn't bring enough again, Tommy chimed in. My little brother, always ready with a jab. More laughs. Someone coughed, probably Dad, but he didn't say a word. He never did when it mattered. I set the steaks and beer down on the step, slow and careful, like I was laying down something fragile. In my jacket pocket was a little box, a model train car for my nephew, Ben. He'd been yammering about trains since summer, so I tracked one down, paid extra to get it shipped fast. Now it felt like a rock weighing me down. I pulled it out, stared at it, then tucked it next to the groceries. No note, no nothing. They didn't deserve one. I didn't knock, didn't call out. Just stood there a minute, letting the wind shove me around, then turned and walked back to my truck. The engine growled to life, and I drove home, the radio off, the road stretching out dark and quiet. When I got in, I left the lights off, cracked a beer from my own fridge, and sat on the couch staring at nothing. Slept like a dead man for 10 hours. Woke up to my phone buzzing, texts, missed calls, chaos. Their voices screaming through the speaker later that day told me they'd found the train car. And they weren't happy. See, it didn't start with that sign. It had been building for years, slow and steady, like rust eating through metal. At first, it was little stuff. Hey, Mike, can you spot me $50 for gas? Tommy'd ask, grinning like it was no big deal. Linda short on rent, could you help out? Mom'd say, all soft and pleading. Ben needs new shoes, and you're doing all right, ain't ya? That was Dad, gruff and expectant. I always said yes. I've got a steady gig, mechanic at a shop downtown, decent pay, no kids to drain it. I figured that's what brothers and sons do, step up. But it snowballed. Linda's rent turned into her car payment. Tommy's gas money became his bar tab. Mom and Dad started leaning on me for their cable bill, then the electric, then a new washer when there's crapped out. I paid for Ben's soccer camp last spring $200 because Linda swore it'd keep him out of trouble. Never saw a thank you, just more hands reaching out. I didn't mind too much, not at first. I liked being the guy they could count on. Until I realized they didn't count on me, they counted my cash. New Year's was the big one. Linda wanted a blowout, grill going, music blasting, lights strung up like some fancy magazine spread. Tommy said we needed ribeyes, not hot dogs, and Dad grumbled about needing a new patio heater. I footed it all, hundreds down the drain. No sweat off their backs. You don't got a family of your own, Linda said once, smirking over a beer I bought. Might as well help us out. Tommy laughed. Yeah, you're like our personal Santa. I forced a chuckle, but it stung. They didn't see me as family, just a paycheck with legs. That night on the porch, it hit me. I'd been hauling their weight so long I forgot what it felt like to stand straight. The sign wasn't a joke, it was a knife. No freeloaders in 2025. Keep your charity at home. Moneybags. I wasn't welcome unless I came with a wad of bills. I drove home numb, but by morning, their panic told me something had shifted. Ben must have opened that train car, and whatever they saw in it, whatever they thought it meant, lit a fuse I didn't even know I'd set. I woke up that next morning with my head thick and heavy, like I'd been hit by a truck instead of just sleeping too long. The beer from last night sat warm and flat on the coffee table, staring at me like it knew something I didn't. My phone was buzzing itself stupid on the armrest, texts piling up, missed calls blinking like warning lights. I ignored it at first, shuffled to the kitchen, and started the coffee pot. Black, no sugar, strong enough to wake the dead. That's how I like it. But the buzzing wouldn't quit, and when I finally grabbed the phone, I saw the storm I'd walked into. Linda's name was all over the screen. Call me now. What the hell did you do? This isn't funny, Mike. Then Tommy. You're a real piece of work, you know that? Mom's was softer but sharp. We need to talk, honey. Please. Dad didn't text. He just called 3 times and left a voicemail. I didn't listen to it yet. My gut was already churning, and I hadn't even had my first sip of coffee. What got them so riled up? The train car? The steaks? Me not knocking on their damn door? I sat down, phone in hand, and scrolled through the group chat. That's when I saw it. A picture Linda sent at 6:47 a.m. The model train car, silver and red, sitting on their kitchen table. Next to it was a note I didn't write, scrawled in black ink. Last stop for the gravy train. Enjoy the ride. My stomach dropped. I hadn't left a note. I just set the box down and walked away. Someone else had gotten their hands on it, turned my quiet exit into a middle finger, and they were losing their minds over it. The coffee burned my tongue as I took a gulp, trying to piece it together. Ben must have found the gift at dawn. Kids always up early tearing into stuff. Maybe he showed Linda, and she saw the note. But who wrote it? Not me. I'm not that clever, or that bold. I don't sling zingers. I fix engines. My phone buzzed again, Linda calling. I let it ring out, then played Dad's voicemail instead. His voice came through, low and gravelly, like he'd smoked a pack already. Mike, you got some explaining to do. This little stun of yours has Linda in tears and Tommy ready to drive over there. Get your ass back here and fix this. Click. No please, no son. Just orders. I leaned back, staring at the ceiling. Fix what? I didn't start this fire. They did, with their sign and their laughs and their years of treating me like a walking ATM. But that note, someone had turned the heat up, and I was getting the blame. Then the texts kept coming. Linda, Ben's asking why you hate us. How do I explain this? Tommy, real classy, leaving a dig like that for a kid to find. Mom, we didn't mean it, Mikey. Come talk. Liars. They meant every word of that sign, and now they were scrambling because someone called their bluff. I didn't answer, didn't call back, just sat there, coffee going cold, letting the silence settle in. It wasn't peaceful, not yet, but it was mine. Then the doorbell rang, hard and fast, like someone was trying to punch through it. I dragged myself up, opened the door, and there was Linda. Her hair was a mess, eyes red, still in pajama pants and a hoodie. She didn't wait for me to say hi. You think this is a game? She snapped, shoving her phone in my face. It was the note again, zoomed in. You left this for my kid to find? What's wrong with you? I didn't write that, I said, keeping my voice flat. I left the train car. Yeah, for Ben. That's it. Someone else added the note. She blinked, mouth half open, then shook her head. Bullshit, Mike. Who else would? You're the only one with a grudge. Maybe the grudge ain't mine. I shot back. You put up that sign. You laughed behind my back. I heard you last night. Tommy calling me a freeloader. You acting like I'm some cheapskate who forgot the ice. I brought everything, Linda. Everything. Her face twisted, caught between guilt and fury. So what? You've always helped out. We didn't think you'd flip out over a dumb sign. It was a joke. A joke's only funny if everyone's laughing, I said. I ain't laughing. She crossed her arms, glaring. So you ditch us, leave some cryptic crap for Ben to cry over, and now you're the victim? Grow up, Mike. We're family. Family don't tape, no freeloaders to the door, and expect me to keep paying their bills, I said. I'm done being your bank. She froze, like I'd slapped her. Then her eyes narrowed. You don't get it. Ben's freaked out, thinks you're mad at him. Tommy's pissed. Mom's a wreck. You need to come back and smooth this over. No, I said, simple as that. I don't need to do anything. You figure it out. Linda stared at me, then turned and stormed off, muttering something I couldn't catch. I shut the door, locked it, and sank back onto the couch. My phone lit up again. Tommy now. You're dead to me, asshole. Short and sweet. I didn't reply, but my mind was racing. Who wrote that note? It wasn't my style, but it sure as hell said what I'd been swallowing for years. Someone knew the truth, and they'd just dropped a match on the whole damn mess. After Linda peeled out of my driveway, I sat there on the couch, the quiet humming around me like a low engine. My coffee was stone cold now, but I didn't care. My head was spinning, trying to figure out who'd scribbled that note and why. Last stop for the gravy train. Enjoy the ride. It wasn't my handwriting, wasn't my words, but damn if it didn't hit the nail square on the head. Someone had seen what I'd been too chicken shit to say out loud, and they'd turned my silent walk away into a loudspeaker. The phone kept buzzing. Tommy's "You're dead to me" text still glowing on the screen. I scrolled past it, saw Mom's latest plea. Mikey, please, just call. We're falling apart here. Falling apart? They'd been falling apart for years. I was just the glue holding the cracks together with my paycheck. I tossed the phone onto the cushion next to me and rubbed my face. I needed air. Needed to think. So I grabbed my jacket, locked the door, and headed out to the garage. My truck's an old Ford, beat up but reliable, kind of like me. I climbed in, fired it up, and drove nowhere special, just the back roads outside town, past the rusted silos and bare trees. The sky was gray, heavy with snow that wouldn't fall, and I kept replaying last night. The sign, the laughter, Linda's voice cutting through the window. Tommy's smug little dig. I'd been there punching bags so long I didn't even feel the hits anymore, until that note turned it all upside down. I stopped at a gas station, grabbed a Coke, and leaned against the truck while the pump clicked. That's when my phone rang again, not a text this time, a call from a number I didn't know. I almost let it go to voicemail, but something told me to pick up. Yeah, I said, gruff and short. Uncle Mike. A small voice, shaky but familiar. Ben. I straightened up, Coke halfway to my mouth. Ben? You okay, bud? There was a pause, some rustling, like he was hiding somewhere. I'm sorry, he whispered. I didn't mean to make everyone mad. Hold up, I said, setting the can on the hood. You didn't do nothing wrong. What's going on over there? Another pause. I wrote the note, he said, so quiet I almost missed it. I froze. You, what? I heard them, he said, his voice cracking. Last night, when you came. I was by the window getting my jacket, and I heard Mom and Uncle Tommy laughing about you. Grandma said you'd get over it, and Grandpa just grunted. They didn't know I was there. Then I saw you leave the stuff and walk away. I got mad. My throat tightened. Ben's 9, skinny as a rail, all big eyes and quiet questions. He's not the type to stir the pot. Hell, he barely talks at family dinners unless it's about trains or dinosaurs. So you wrote that note? I asked, keeping my tone soft. Yeah, he said. I snuck out after they went to bed and added it to the box. I didn't think they'd freak out this bad. Mom's yelling, Uncle Tommy's slamming doors, and Grandma keeps crying. I messed up, didn't I? No, I said quick, surprising myself. You didn't mess up, Ben. You said what I couldn't. He sniffed. You're not mad at me? Nah, kid, I said. I ain't mad. Where you at right now? In my room, he said. I took Mom's old phone from the drawer so I could call you. They don't know. All right, listen, I said, glancing around like someone might overhear. You hang tight, okay? Don't tell them you called me. I'll figure this out. Okay, he said, sounding a little steadier. Uncle Mike? I don't think you're a freeloader. I think they're mean. I swallowed hard. Thanks, but means a lot. I'll talk to you soon. He hung up, and I stood there, the gas pump long since clicked off, staring at the phone like it had just handed me a live grenade. Ben wrote the note. Little Ben, who I'd hauled to soccer practice when Linda forgot, who I'd sat with building Lego sets while Tommy drank my beer and bragged about nothing. He'd seen it all, the way they treated me, the way they leaned on me, and he'd had enough. For me, I didn't know whether to laugh or cry, so I just got back in the truck and drove home, the Coke still sitting unopened on the hood where I'd left it. When I pulled into my driveway, Tommy's beat-up Chevy was parked crooked across 2 spaces. He was on my porch, pacing, fist clenched. Great. I killed the engine, stepped out, and braced myself. What do you want? I called, not moving closer. He spun around, face red. You got some nerve, Mike. Scaring Ben with that crap? Linda's a mess, Mom's bawling, and you're out here playing saint. I didn't write the note, I said, stepping toward him slow. But I'm guessing you know who did. His eyes flickered, just for a second, then he doubled down. Don't pull that. You left it. You started this. Ben heard you last night, I said, voice low. Heard all of you. That's why you wrote it. Not me. Tommy's jaw tightened, but he didn't flinch. Kid's lying. You put him up to it. He called me 10 minutes ago, I said. Hid in his room to do it. You gonna call him a liar to his face? For once, Tommy didn't have a comeback. He just glared, breathing hard, then spat on the ground. You're tearing us apart, man. Hope you're happy. He stormed back to his truck, tires squealing as he tore off. I watched him go, then went inside and locked the door. Ben's call was still ringing in my ears. The kid had more guts than I did, and he'd just blown the lid off everything. Tommy's tail lights disappeared down the street, and I stood there on my porch, the cold creeping into my bones. My breath puffed out in little clouds, and my head was a damn mess. Ben's voice kept echoing, small, scared, but steady. I think they're mean. 9 years old, and he'd seen through the bullshit I'd been waiting in for decades. I went back inside, grabbed a fresh beer from the fridge, and cracked it open. Didn't drink it, just held it, letting the chill bite my fingers while I thought. They'd be coming for me now. Tommy wouldn't let it drop. Guy's got a temper like a pit bull with a bone. Linda'd be next, probably with Mom in tow, all tears and guilt trips. Dad'd hang back, silent but judging, like always. And Ben? Stuck in the middle, probably hiding that phone under his pillow, waiting for me to fix it. Except I was done fixing their messes. I'd been patching their holes, rent, bills, busted cars, for so long I forgot what my own life looked like without their weight on it. I set the beer down and pulled out my phone. No new texts, just the old ones glaring at me. I opened the group chat, stared at Linda's picture of the train car and that note. Last stop for the gravy train. Ben's words, not mine, but they might as well have been. I started typing, slow at first, then faster, like something broke loose. Since you're all losing your minds, let's get this straight. I didn't write the note. Ben did, because he heard you laughing at me last night. Heard you call me a freeloader while I paid for your party. I'm done. No more money, no more favors. You want to talk, do it without expecting a handout. I'm out. I hit send, watched the little delivered pop up, and turned the phone off. Felt like dropping a brick off my chest. The quiet hit different after that. Not heavy, not empty, just there. I grabbed a wrench from my toolbox and headed to the garage. Got a Harley frame I've been tinkering with for months, half-built, rusting in the corner. Figured I'd work on it, keep my hands busy while the storm brewed. I was tightening a bolt when the doorbell went off again, loud and insistent. Wiped my hands on a rag, walked back in, and peeked through the window. Linda and Mom, huddled together like they were bracing for a fight. I opened the door, didn't say a word, just waited. Mike, what the hell? Linda started, voice shaking. You can't just text that and ghost us. Ben's a kid, he doesn't know what he's doing. He knows enough, I said, leaning against the frame. He heard you. All of you. What did you expect him to do? Smile and take it. Mom stepped forward, hands twisting her scarf. Honey, we didn't mean it like that. We were just blowing off steam. You know how we get. Yeah, I said. I know. You get loud, you get mean, and I get the bill. Every time. Linda's eyes flashed. So you're punishing us? Making Ben your little spy? That's low, Mike. He ain't my spy, I snapped. He's your kid, and he's smarter than you give him credit for. He saw me walk away last night and figured out why. You should be asking why he felt like he had to write that note, not yelling at me. Mom teared up. We're family, Mikey. You don't turn your back on family. Family don't treat me like a damn ATM, I said. You put that sign up. You laughed. I heard it. Ben heard it. I'm not turning my back. I'm just stopping the cash flow. Linda crossed her arms. Fine. Be selfish. But don't expect us to come crawling when you're lonely. Don't expect me to pay your rent when you're broke. I shot back. She flinched, and Mom grabbed her arm, tugging her toward the car. They left without another word, tires crunching on gravel. I shut the door, went back to the Harley, and cranked the radio. Old rock, loud enough to drown out the echo of their voices. They'd be back, but I'd drawn my line. For once, it wasn't about what they needed. It was about what I wouldn't give. Next day was Sunday, gray and still. I woke up early, made coffee, and sat on the back steps watching the frost sparkle on the grass. Phone was still off, didn't want to deal with the fallout yet. I knew they'd be talking, plotting, probably painting me as the bad guy to anyone who'd listen. That's how they worked. Spin it, twist it, make it someone else's fault. I'd seen it with Tommy's bar fights, Linda's late bills, Dad's gambling debts I'd quietly covered. But this time, I wasn't playing along. Around noon, I fired up the phone. Flood of messages. Linda calling me a jerk, Tommy threatening to sort me out, Mom begging me to see reason. Then one from Ben, from that burner phone. They're mad at me now. I'm sorry. That one hit me square in the chest. I texted back quick. Not your fault, bud. Hang in there. Didn't know if he'd see it, but I had to say it. Kid didn't deserve their crap. Then the doorbell rang again. I groaned, figuring it was round 2 with Linda, but it was Jake, my buddy from the shop, big guy with a beard like a lumberjack. He held up a 6-pack. Heard you're in deep shit with your folks. Thought you might need this. I let him in, cracked a beer with him at the kitchen table. How'd you hear? I asked. Tommy's flapping his gums at the bar. Jake said, grinning. Says you screwed them over, left some nasty note. Whole town's buzzing. Ben wrote it. I said, filling him in. Porch, sign, laughter, all of it. Jake whistled low. Kid's got balls, he said. But Tommy's telling everyone you're a deadbeat who bailed. Linda's posting sob stories online. Family betrayal. That crap. I pulled up her Facebook on my phone. Sure enough, there it was. Hurts when the ones you trust most turn on you. Keep my Ben in your thoughts. Comments piling up. Prayers, heart emojis. People I hadn't seen in years calling me out. Ungrateful. Selfish. Poor Linda. I showed Jake, and he laughed so hard he nearly choked. She's good, he said. Turning it around like you're the villain. What's your move? Ain't got one yet, I said. Just done paying their way. He nodded, sipped his beer. They'll keep pushing. You know that. Yeah, I said. But I ain't budging. Monday hit, and the shop was a circus. Guys I worked with, good dudes, mostly, kept giving me looks. Your sister's blowing up online, man, Pete said, wiping grease off his hands. She says you abandoned them. I shrugged, kept my head under a hood. Didn't owe them an explanation. But by lunch, Tommy showed up, storming in like he owned the place. We need to talk, he barked, loud enough for everyone to hear. Talk then, I said, not looking up from the engine. You're ruining us, he said. Linda's a wreck. Ben's grounded. Mom's sick over this. You happy now? Ben's grounded for telling the truth. I asked, standing straight. And I ain't the one who put up that sign. Tommy stepped closer, voice low. Keep it up, and you'll regret it. Try me, I said, meeting his eyes. He backed off, muttering, and left. Shop went quiet, but I felt the stares. They could think what they wanted. I wasn't breaking. Week dragged on, and the pressure didn't let up. Linda's posts got wilder. Pictures of Ben looking sad, captions about trust broken. Tommy kept running his mouth around town, and Mom left voicemails I didn't play. Dad stayed silent, which was worse somehow. I stuck to my routine, work, home, Harley. Kept my head down, but the noise was getting louder. Friday night, I was at the diner grabbing a burger when my phone buzzed. Another text from Ben, they're fighting bad. Mom hit Uncle Tommy. I'm scared. I paid quick and drove to their place. Not sure what I'd do when I got there. Pulled up, and the house was lit up, voices yelling through the walls. I knocked hard. Door flew open, and Linda stood there, hair wild, a bruise blooming on her cheek. What do you want? She spat. Ben texted. I said. What's going on? Her face crumpled, and she stepped aside. Inside was chaos. Tommy pacing, blood on his knuckles. Dad in his chair staring at nothing. Mom sobbing on the couch. Ben was at the top of the stairs, eyes wide. Uncle Mike, he yelled, running down. I caught him in a hug, felt him shaking. Somebody talk, I said, voice steady. Linda pointed at Tommy. He started it, called me a leech. I slapped him, and he hit back. You're both leeches, Tommy snarled. Living off Mike till he snapped. Shut up, Dad growled. First words I'd heard from him in days. We're a family. Family don't do this, I said, Ben clinging to me. You're tearing each other apart, and I ain't the glue anymore. Mom looked up, tears streaming. We need you, Mike. We're sorry. No, I said. You need my money. Big difference. Tommy lunged, but I sidestepped, keeping Ben behind me. Get out, Linda screamed. At me, at Tommy, at everyone. I didn't wait for more. Took Ben's hand, grabbed his coat, and walked out. You can't take him, Linda yelled, but she didn't follow. I put Ben in the truck, drove home, and sat him on the couch with a Coke. You okay? I asked. He nodded, slow. They're mad, 'cause you stopped helping. I told them it's their fault. You're right, I said. But you shouldn't have to fight that battle. He looked at me, eyes old for a kid. Can I stay here? Yeah, I said. Long as you need. Cops showed up next morning. Linda called, said I'd kidnapped Ben. I explained, showed them his texts, let them talk to him. They left, told her to sort it out civilly. She didn't. Kept posting online, but the tide shifted. People saw through it, started calling her out. Tommy vanished for a bit, probably licking his wounds. Mom and Dad went quiet. No more pleas. Ben stayed with me. I got him a bed, set up a corner for his trains. Called a lawyer buddy, started figuring out custody. Linda wasn't fighting hard, too busy playing victim. Town gossip died down, and the shop guys quit asking. Jake brought over a pizza one night, said, "You're a damn hero, man." I laughed, didn't feel like one, just felt free. I posted once on my old Facebook. I paid for years. Not anymore. Ben's safe with me. That's all that matters. No fireworks, no revenge, just truth. Linda lost her audience, Tommy lost his swagger, and my parents lost their crutch. Me? I gained a kid who saw me, not my wallet. Now it's quiet. I wake up, make coffee, hear Ben tinkering with his trains. Work steady, Harley's coming together. No more hands out, no more guilt. Just me and Ben, building something new. Silence ain't lonely anymore. It's mine, and it's enough.